Hello everyone, welcome back to the Undercut, and today we are going to be doing our F1 2025 predictions. This is going to probably be our most outlandish, most wildest video we've ever done because, Jack, we have no less than 6 rookies on the grid for next season if you do include Liam Lawson as his first season. It's going to be wild.
It is going to be a crazy year this year. I think it's a year of the cars are going to be similar. I reckon we'll have similar-ish pace. And it's going to be quite crazy watching these rookies bed themselves in.
Yeah, I saw a meme actually on Reels. It was quite funny. It was like something like, oh, the 2025 off F1 grid in Australia because we have 6 rookies, and it's that clip of the F1 game where all the cars are bugging out and just crashing into each other. It is turn 1 in Australia is going to be wild next season.
It's not just the rookies though, because it's 8 of the 10 teams have a new driver lineup. So you've got the experienced drivers have to get used to a new car.
Yeah, they do. So it's going to be very, very interesting. Let's just get straight into this. So we're going to do our driver rankings for the championship and then our constructors rankings as well. So obviously the constructors championship rankings will be a little bit more obvious after we've done the drivers, but obviously everyone's here for the drivers. The constructors are kind of just an add-on. We're going to go from 20th to first place. Let's just kick it off then, Jack. Who have you got in 20th place for the F1 2025 World Drivers' Championship?
Well, we say 20th place. I've got 21 places.
Okay, all right, okay.
So we're spicing it up straight away.
We're spicing it up straight away. Okay, you go in with your 21st and your 20th place because I've only got 20.
Okay, so 21st, I've got Jack Doohan.
Oh no! But I was blamed for being the one that was shitting on him in Abu Dhabi, saying he's not good enough, and you put him in 21st.
I've put him in 21st.
So is he the guy who gets replaced for you?
He's the guy that gets replaced.
Okay, well we'll find out by who later, I guess.
We will find out by who later, and yeah, it's not going to be a great year. Do you want me to expand, or do you want?
Yeah, I mean, unless you want to expand when you get to his replacement, I don't know, but
I mean, I can do. I mean, I can lump it in together when we get to his replacement, I think.
Okay, so you've got Jack doing the 21st. Who have you got in 20th?
In 20th, I've got Gabriel Bortoleto.
Okay.
Now, I think that's quite an obvious one. Obviously, rookie up against Nico Hulkenberg. We know that Sauber this year has been a bit shit.
Yeah.
And I think the trend will kind of continue. I think it will be the back runner. I think he'll struggle. We saw Bottas didn't score any points. I don't hold much hope for Bottas. I think he'll have a good year, like for a rookie, but I think the car just won't be there for him.
I agree. In 20th place, I've gone with Gabriel Bortoleto for the same reasons as you, really. I think Bortoleto will have a good year. We'll see some good performances from him. But similar to Bottas this season, I just don't think he'll score any points because of how bad the Sauber is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's as simple as that. And we've got to remember as well, the 2025 cars are basically the 2024 cars, but like sort of a second variation. Because no team is building a new car for this year when we've got the 26 regulations around the corner. We're going to see very similar pace, I reckon, unless one team just goes balls to the wall.
Yeah.
And I don't think that team will be Sauber. With Audi coming in, they're going to want to save their biggest hand for 26, I reckon. So, yeah, Bortoleto in 20th.
Yeah, no. 19th, straight in?
Yeah, let's go straight in.
Straight in. I've got 19th, Isaac Hadjar.
Oh, poor Hadjar, bro.
No, I know, but realistically, you look at it, the RB was coming to the end, what, 8th fastest team?
Yeah.
You would say? 8th fastest team, obviously 9th, Williams, 10th was Sauber. I mean, the Williams lineup this year, they could have the 9th quickest car again, but the lineup they've got off Sainz and Albon will boost them up.
Yeah.
And that midfield battle is so much harder for these rookies to come into. You've got Sainz in there, you've got Albon in there, you've got Gasly in there, you've got Ocon in there. So these rookies, they come in, and if they've got a car that's 8th, 9th, or 10th, they're going to be at the bottom. So that's why I think Hadjar's going to be down there.
That's an interesting take. I mean, Hadjar finishing 19th. I don't know how he's not getting replaced in your list. If recent Red Bull shenanigans is anything to go off of.
Wait,
anyway,
wow.
was it Daniel Ricciardo? He's coming back? Whoa.
I can tell you that now. He will not be.
In 19th place, I've gone with Jack Doohan. So not as bad as you, which is surprising because I thought mine would be lower than yours. But yeah, Jack Doohan, I don't think he'll get replaced. I mean, I've got 20 drivers, so I haven't got any replacements this season. But
Well,
I think he'll see out the year. And unfortunately, I don't think he'll get another season. I think this will be it for Jack Doohan. Who do I think he'll be replaced by? Well, yeah, you've gone mid-season. Who do I think he'll be replaced by in 26? I mean, we're going. Well, I mean, this is a whole different video, but if he fails to live up to the expectation, probably Colapinto, maybe someone else. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, Jack Doohan. Also, the Alpine isn't amazing as we've seen this season. They have sort of brought it back to the front of the midfield, but like I mentioned, with the midfield being so tight, and with, as you alluded to as well, with the likes of Yuki Tsunoda, we got Fernando Alonso, Pierre Gasly, Esteban Ocon, Alex Albon, Carlos Sainz, Nico Hülkenberg. He's just going to be the bottom of the pile.
Yeah.
So, unfortunate for Jack Doohan.
It is unfortunate for Jack Doohan, but I don't think he is good enough. I think he's a Logan Sargent situation.
Damn, you think he's Logan Sargent?
I do think he's a Logan Sargent, Nicholas Latifi sort of situation, Sergei Sorokin.
Not Sergey. Not Sergey. No,
Yes,
not Sergey.
Sergei.
Not Sergey. Ooh.
Yeah. We're in that sort of situation, I think, with Jack Doohan. And I think Alpine and I think Fabio Briatore is going to be ridiculously ruthless.
Well, we'll see, won't we?
Yeah. Well, move on. 18th.
Yep.
I've got Lance Stroll.
Right. Once again, can I just disclaimer here, right? I've been blamed all season long for being the biggest Lance Stroll hater of all of mankind. And this man puts Lance Stroll 18th.
Yeah.
What have I got to do?
Well, not laugh when he crashes.
Right. Well, we don't need to talk about that. Let's get... Okay. Why Lance Stroll 18th?
Well, he struggles, Lance. He really struggles. And this midfield this year is a crazy good midfield. That Aston Martin is progressively getting worse and worse.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah, it's very bad. I think Aston Martin as a whole will probably struggle in a way. And I just think Lance just won't get a grips with that car at all. And he's one of the worst drivers. He's down there on a rookie level.
Damn.
Lance Stroll is. He's down there on a rookie level compared to... Like, if he's up against Albon, Sainz, Gasly, Hülkenberg...
Fernando,
Ocon,
who's in the same car.
Tsunoda, Fernando. That's 7 right there.
Yeah. That's fine.
Lance, for me, he's not good enough.
Damn. Okay. Well,
I'm coming in hot and thick here.
Jack is the new Lance Stroll hater. Let's just put it that way.
I'm coming in. I'm coming in here. Proper on it.
It is. He's on it. In 18th, I've gone. Sadly, this pained me to do this. Actually, I've gone Nico Hülkenberg.
Wow.
Nothing against Hülkenberg. I do think he'll score points maybe twice. But it's going to be a Sauber situation. I mean, just look at what happened to Bottas. I mean, we rate Bottas on a level of Nico Hülkenberg, if not sometimes above.
We do.
So, Hülkenberg, I do think he's there for the long-term project of Audi, and I really hope Audi do pull through and give him a better car because Hülkenberg deserves it. But, yeah, that car is going to be woeful next season. And hopefully they surprise me, but unfortunately, they were awful this season. And they're going to be awful next season, I think.
Okay. No, that's fair.
Yeah.
Literally can't argue with that. I mean, we'll get onto my Hülkenberg in a bit because I've got a weird feeling.
You've got a weird feeling with Hülkenberg?
Yeah. But we'll get onto that in a bit.
Okay.
Because my 17th is Oliver Behrman. Oliver Behrman in the Haas.
Right, okay.
I think he'll get a few points.
Oh, Jack.
What?
Oh, Jack, the recording's fucked itself.
What do you mean?
Wait a minute. Oh, wait.
Oh, I'm gonna kill myself.
Bro, I don't know why it's fucking itself. Okay, we're back.
We're
Okay,
back.
we're back. I don't know where it fucked from. I think it was midway through my Hulkenberg.
Midway through your Hulkenberg.
Yeah, so I'll go from Hulkenberg. You might just have to cut.
Hulkenberg.
Yeah, and cut back to Hulkenberg now.
Okay.
I'll go from Hulkenberg. In 18th place, I've gone with Nico Hulkenberg. And it's fucked itself again. Fuck. Wait, hold on. Oh, we're back. In 18th place, I've gone with Nico Hulkenberg. I just, as simple as Hulkenberg's going to be in the Sauber. The Sauber, as we've discussed, I don't think is going to get any better. And as we've seen with Bottas this season, good performances, no points. I think Hulkenberg will score some points, but I think it will only be enough for 18th place. Unfortunate for him. He is in it for the long-term project of Audi.
Yeah.
And I just hope that somehow, Audi can give him a good car, but I don't think it's going to be it for Hulkenberg next season.
No, okay, that's fair. I can see it, but
yeah,
straight in 17th. We'll go next. Oliver Behrman.
Oh, Oliver Behrman.
Oliver Behrman in the house.
Damn, but he did well last season.
And I think he'll do well, but he's in the Haas.
Okay.
He's in the Haas. I think he'll get points. Don't get me wrong. I think he will get points throughout this year. But for me, when I look at it, I think this is our strongest midfield we've had in a long time.
Okay.
In terms of you look at the drivers in there, and some of them are world champions already, or future world champions, or potential world champions. And they're in this car that's in the mid pack, and they've got the experience of Formula One. They know Formula One, and I think these rookies in general are kind of going to struggle.
Right. Okay.
So that's why he's so far down. I think he's going to have a good year. I think he's going to get in the points. I think the Haas will be very good at some tracks and pretty awful at other tracks. So it'll be a struggle year, but I think he'll have an okay year to just break into Formula One and hopefully progress more. But I think he will be 17th. Because if you look at the drivers above him that I've got, it's going to be... It's hard to break above these.
Yeah, it's hard when you've got some of these drivers, isn't it? You know, you look at some of the drivers above Oliver Behrman that you have, and it is. I guess it is a bit difficult to put him above them, but we'll see. In 17th place, I have gone with Isaac Hadjar.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, similar to you, the RB's going backwards. I mean, I look at the Saubers. He'll finish above the Saubers. Probably Sauber's the worst car. Jack Doohan, I don't think he's good enough. Next is, logically for me, Isaac Hadjar. Obviously, anything can happen, as we saw with Esteban Ocon and Pierre Gasly in Brazil. A fluke result could aim him higher. Fluke results for others could have him lower.
Yeah.
But I think that's probably where he's at. I think he'll have a decent year. I don't think he'll be anywhere near Tsunoda, personally. But I think he'll be in and amongst the midfield.
Yeah, no. I can see it. I have Hadjar that low. I think Hadjar will get a couple of points for me, but he's down in 90. It's just, I don't know. I think the rookies will all struggle.
Uh-huh.
So
That's fair. Okay, then. Who have you got in 16th, then?
Alexander Albon.
Oh, that hurts me, you know. That
I'm
really
sorry.
hurts me.
I'm sorry.
Actually, I say that. I haven't really got him much higher, to be fair.
Yeah. No, I've got Alex Albon. I think I've seen a few things on TikTok and Instagram, like people have Williams. Oh, they'll break top 4 this year in constructors. They'll do it. Yeah, I've seen that. They'll be best of the rest in midfield. I was like, what are you on? They won't. Williams are going to really struggle at the start of this year.
Yeah.
They will really struggle in terms of their car isn't going to be prepared. It's not really going to be ready. The crashes from last year are going to be a problem for them. Isn't there a stat that they've had as many crashes as they got points last year?
Probably.
I think they had 17 or something. It's crazy. So I think the crashes are still going to affect them next year.
Yeah.
And they're going to have a slow year. I think they'll have a decent car towards the end, but they won't be able to make that much ground up. And I think Albon will be sitting in a lowly 16th.
That's fair, because I think it's going to be a case of, I mean, James Vowles has even said, like, they're writing off these next, well, when he came in 3 years, 2023, 4, and 5, and then 26 is the one they're really going for.
Yeah.
So, is the Williams going to be great next year? No. Is it going to be in amongst the midfield? Probably. They're not going to make a terrible car, but it won't be anywhere near best of the rest. And I think it probably will be a case of, and I think we'll get onto this point a little bit more when we talk about Sainz and also where I put Albon. But it's probably more down to the brilliance of both of them drivers and the experience that they have more than the car.
Yeah,
Probably
I would agree.
But in 16th place, I have gone with Lance Stroll. I mean,
he's not that much higher than where I put him.
No, but I mean, at least I've given him the respect of being ahead of another 4 drivers. But at the end of the day, it's not good enough. He's not good enough. Fernando's going to whitewash him again, and the Aston Martin, like you said, the car's going backwards. I agree with everything you say. I just think he'll finish a bit higher.
Yeah. No, fair.
Pretty much.
That Stroll's easy.
Stroll's easy.
Yeah. So 15th. See, now I come in here with Nico Hulkenberg.
Oh, that is a take and a half in the Sauber.
In a Sauber.
Right. Okay.
I think I mean, we saw Guan Yu Zhou hit up 4 points.
Yep.
I think the Sauber will be at a point where it is in the midfield now. It's not 20 seconds back. It's at the back of the midfield. That car, naturally. But I think it's thereabouts with him.
Okay.
So they're not like a million miles behind anymore. And I think Hulkenberg has that essence of brilliance where, like, he's qualified P4 in a Haas. Like, I think Hulkenberg has that brilliance where that car could be awful, but he's there putting it Q2s, like P11, P12, picking up them points when mistakes happen. And I think that's what will get Hulkenberg progressing up this list. I think the fact that Williams, I think, will struggle at the start of the year will get him as high as possible on this list as well.
Okay.
And I think the rookies in there, he could just kind of be like, look, I'm the guy that's here. Get out my way.
Right, okay.
And I think at the first half of the year anyway, he'll get as many points as he can. I think towards the end of the year, he might tail off. But he'll have enough points accumulated where he's picked up a 9th or a 10th here and there to just keep him there.
Okay, all right. That's fair enough. Okay. So you've gone with the logic of Sauber are at the back of the grid.
But not too far back.
But not too far back to the point where Hulkenberg could probably pick up a 9th and a 10th a few times a season.
Easy.
Okay, that's fair. In 15th place, I've gone with Alexander Albon. I mean, pretty much the exact same reason as you. I don't have to elaborate. So 15th Albon.
Fair.
Yeah.
So, and it hurt you that I put him in 16th. Okay.
Yeah, it just, I don't know. Here, I like Albon, but I think it hurt me. But then I looked at my list, and then I was like, oh wait, I agree. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, 14th, I've got Carlos Sainz.
Okay.
Yeah. So again, that Williams, I think Sainz will outdo Albon. I think Sainz is a better driver than Albon. So I think naturally Sainz will be higher.
Same reason though.
It is pretty much the same reason as Albon, but he's just slightly better, so he's slightly higher.
I'm gonna match you here. 14th, I've got Carlos Sainz.
Wow, we've matched one.
Yeah, we have. I think the Williams will finish together in the end. I think they'll be very equally matched. I think this pairing will be very reminiscent to Ocon Gasly at Alpine, but the same way that Gasly sort of has the very tiniest edge over Ocon, I think Sainz will over Albon. Okay. Sainz, I just think, is a better driver. And I think he'll outdo him by a few points. But I don't think the Williams is going to be good enough to really show the biggest difference between them.
Okay.
But they're both great drivers. But I think they'll just finish, 14th and 15th. A lonely 14th and 15th for Williams.
Yeah, it's not great, is it?
No.
No. Well, move on to 13th.
Yep.
Here we go.
Oh, no. No.
I've got Franco Colapinto.
Oh, boy! Okay, I forgot the replacement was coming.
The replacement is coming, and he's coming in 13th.
Okay.
Alpine.
That's crazy.
And I think that Alpine car's pretty good this year.
Okay, so you think that they improve?
I think the Alpine is the Aston Martin from this year.
Okay.
So I think they're 5th.
Okay.
So I think they've got a decent car, and that's why Colapinto is able to get so high. We've seen in the Williams, he can get points consistently with a pretty shit car.
Yeah. So my question then is, when does Jack Doohan get replaced?
I think it's a Nick De Vries situation.
Wow. So in 6, 7, 8 races.
Yeah, 8 races.
Wow. Okay. That's
before
crazy.
mid-season.
Wow. Okay. So Alpine ruthless then.
I think they will be. I think Doohan gets about no more than 10 for sure.
Okay.
And Colapinto comes in, starts banging out some points. There we go.
Okay, fair enough. I can't blame you for that. In 13th, I've got Oliver Behrman. Yeah, so I'm backing Behrman.
That's a good year.
I'm backing him. Is it... Alright, okay, so it's more 60-40. I think 40% Oliver Behrman's going to have a good year. I think 60% of my reasoning is I think Haas are going to be best of the rest.
Wow.
So there obviously there are a few drivers that I do think...
And that's a pretty bad year.
Well, no, because I think there are a few drivers that even if Haas are best of the rest, Oliver Behrman I just don't think has any chance of finishing above. And I think it's very obvious who those drivers are. But yeah, I think he'll have a good year. I think the Haas car will be best of the rest. I don't think comfortably. I think some tracks it'll be track dependent, but it'll be kind of like how you said, the Aston Martin. Like it could have a good start to the year, and then sort of tail off, or it could be the other way round. I don't know. But I think it'll be sort of best of the rest, and he'll have a good year. So I've gone with Oliver Behrman.
Fair, no. I mean, can't argue with that. I mean, if you think Haas are going to be up there best of the rest, then...
Yeah.
Fair enough. I mean, I've gone 12, Esteban Ocon.
Okay, so he's up there.
Yeah, no, I think Haas will be decent. I think they'll be in a battle, potentially. I think Alpine will be 5th, and I think they'll be in a battle with Aston Martin for 6th and 7th.
Okay, that's fair.
So, yeah, no, it'd be a good year. I think Haas might just lose out to that, but with it being Ocon against Fernando, that'll be a fun one.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
But yeah, no, I think Ocon will have a decent year in his first year at Haas. I mean, just do Ocon things. Ocon and Haas seem to just work well because, for me, when I look at a Haas, I associate it with there's a mistake or there's just some absolutely crazy thing that's about to go on, and that's Esteban Ocon.
Yeah, they always pick the drivers that have that sort of stigma around them.
Grosjean, Magnussen,
yep.
Wasn't Gutierrez was in Haas at one point, wasn't he?
He was, yeah, Gutierrez. Yeah.
There we go. Esteban Ocon is joining a list of greats there.
He is, yeah, the goats of F1.
Yeah. We just need Latifi.
Yeah, they do, imagine. I'm actually kind of scared, and we'll talk about this driver next, because you haven't mentioned him yet, so I'm terrified. 12th, I've gone Yuki Tsunoda. Now, I don't know if you've done some tomfoolery and buffoonery with Red Bull Racing and RB, and you've swapped Liam and Yuki mid-season, because you haven't said Yuki yet, but you said RB are going to be ass, so I don't know what's going on with Yuki.
I mean, I've got 11th coming up.
You do, but I've got Yuki Tsunoda 12th. I think it'll be a very similar season to this season gone by. I think he'll gradually improve, as he's been doing for a few seasons now. He's on this upward trajectory, which...
He is.
Every year, he makes Red Bull look sillier and sillier for not picking him
They
in the
do.
second seat. And I think that trend will continue. I think Yuki will be even more consistent, will make less mistakes, and I think he'll score points. He went on that run last season, this season, whatever, We're in that like off period season where you don't know what to
Yeah.
call it. Where he scored points all the way from Australia to what was it? Was it
Monaco?
Monaco? And there was one race where he didn't score because he retired
Yeah.
with a failure. So he was incredibly consistent when the RB had decent pace. Obviously, it dropped off. Still scored points in the likes of Vegas, the likes of Brazil. But yeah, Yuki Tsunoda he's had a great season. I think he'll have. I think he'll continue to perform, and he'll get 12th.
Well, yeah. Did you hear what Yuki apparently was interviewed? He would say, "What do you have to do to get into that Red Bull?" It's like podiums and wins, apparently.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I don't think he's happy.
No, he's not happy. He'll definitely be going to Aston Martin. Like, there's no way he won't. At some point. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, 11th then.
Okay.
Fernando Alonso.
See, Yuki. Oh man. Okay, go on.
So yeah, no, I've got Fernando Alonso. Obviously, as I said, I think the Aston Martin, the Haas, is going to have a pretty good battle.
Yeah.
And I think Fernando does Fernando things. Consistency. What was the stat that you said? Was it 15 races this year he got points or something?
Yeah. He scored points 15 times.
Yeah.
And 4 11th places as well.
Yeah. I think that's just what Fernando does, doesn't he? And he'll just pick up them points as he does, and it just gets him up that table.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's pretty easy to do, Fernando, isn't it?
Fernando doing the Fernando things, and this won't take long because 11th place, I've got Fernando Alonso as well.
Yeah, so we've matched on 2.
Yeah, we have, yeah. He won't finish 9th because the Aston Martin isn't as good as it was, and it's on that steady decline. But I still think he'll finish top 11 because Fernando does Fernando things.
So, it's Fernando.
Yeah. Let's move to 10th then, shall we?
10th. Okay, yes. I have Liam Lawson.
Oh, you've done the mid-season swap. Oh, you've done the mid-season swap.
I've done the swap.
Oh!
I think it'll be a swap. I think Lawson won't... He'll pick up enough points in that Red Bull to be like top 10.
Yep.
But it's not enough to be at Red Bull.
Okay.
I think he's going to struggle. I think he's going to be consistently at the back like Perez was out the top 8. I think it's too early for him. I think it's going to be another Gasly situation. And yeah, I think it's just going to be a big mistake, and I think Red Bull will realise it quite quick. And I think Yuki is still in Red Bull's head.
He's got to be, right?
He has to be. I think Yuki's firmly there, and I think it's going to be a case of they will swap them straight away.
Yeah.
If something does go wrong, because Yuki's there, he's ready.
Yeah.
They got a driver ready to do that, and I think they will do that.
That's crazy. I mean, we'll obviously talk more about Yuki and where you've put him later on in this list, but in 10th, I've gone with Pierre Gasly.
Wow.
Yeah, another brilliant season for him, I think. He'll completely outdo Jack Doohan. The Alpine, I don't think will be top of the midfield, but it'll be in that Fernando Alonso Haas battle, I think. And I think he'll score a lot of points. I think even potentially might snag a podium. It's Pierre Gasly things. So,
Pierre Gasly.
Yeah, Pierre Gasly's in 10th for me.
Fair. I mean, I've got Gasly in 9th.
Yeah, so pretty much the same sort of...
Pretty much, I think Gasly's just going to be phenomenal.
Yeah.
Absolutely phenomenal. And I think, I mean, he's a driver that he deserves to be in a Mercedes, a Ferrari, a McLaren, a Red Bull again. Yeah. He's just, since his problems at Red Bull, you thought, oh, this could be over for Gasly. He's come on leaps and bounds.
He's kicked on, hasn't he?
He's kicked on, he's progressing where others might have just given up there. He hasn't. And it's great to see, and he's doing phenomenally well. And he's, for me, personally, I think he is the best driver after the top 4 teams.
That's fair. No, I can see that. Definitely. I can definitely see that. In 9th, I've gone with Esteban Ocon. And that's obviously a lot of the reasoning behind that is I think Haas will be best of the rest. And I think Ocon, obviously, experienced driver. I think he'll be consistent. I think he'll more often than not be in that 7th to 10th range. Whether Gasly, Fernando, whoever finishes above him, I still think he's 10th,
Yeah.
9th, 10th, 11th in that area. And then when the Haas maybe is the quickest car, I think he's maybe even finishing above, spoiler, Liam Lawson, who I think will struggle in the Red Bull, as we'll come on to talk about more when we discuss your Yuki and my Liam Lawson. So, yeah, Ocon, I think, will be comfortably in there. He'll have a fantastic season. I think it'll be a good battle between him and Gasly.
Yeah.
And Fernando. I think that battle for the midfield, I think this season is going to be really good, and I'm really excited for it.
I would agree with that. That mid-season midfield is going to be phenomenal.
It's going to be good.
Yeah, 8th, I've got Kimi Antonelli.
Oh, Yuki is up there, bro. What's going on? Where's Yuki, man? What's Yuki doing?
I've got Kimi Antonelli.
Okay.
I think Mercedes are going to have another year of probably being the 4th quickest on average out of the top 4.
Yeah.
And yeah, just out of the top 8, he's just going to be 8th.
Okay. Fairs. So a season to bed him into the team.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's not a bad year for him. I think he'll have some pretty good results. I think a podium maybe here or there for him.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I think the ones above him just have a slight bit more.
Will he be sort of affected by the Mercedes drought, you think?
Potentially. Yeah, it could be the car might not help him as well.
Yeah.
So
that's fair.
But it's still a good year for Kimi Antonelli. It's like I don't expect him to really be ahead of these guys that are already there. It's his first year in Formula One. He's 18.
Yeah.
Give the guy a break.
And not everyone's Max Verstappen, right? So
no.
Or Lewis Hamilton when he came in.
Or Charles Leclerc.
Or Charles Leclerc. In 8th, I've gone with Liam Lawson. I don't think he will be dropped mid-season, but I do think Red Bull are going to learn the hard way that no matter who they put in that car, they're never going to be anywhere near Max Verstappen.
Yeah.
Because I just think they've built that car around Max to the point where...
Yeah.
No, but it's like... It baffles me how... You know, we're going to go into a Red Bull rant here, but it baffles me how you can go from Pierre Gasly, who has since proven he's a fantastic driver, Alex Albon, who out of the 3 teammates Max has had so far, has actually been the closest to Max.
Yeah.
Comparatively. And then has also done decently well at Williams. Obviously, Williams hasn't had a fantastic car, so he hasn't really been able to prove what he can do, but still hasn't been bad. And then Sergio Perez, who was a proven race winner, did amazing things at Force India and Sauber and eventually, obviously, Racing Point. Won the Sakir Grand Prix from last, had a fantastic season in 2020.
Yeah.
It was considered the best midfield driver of his generation and then obviously flopped. Liam Lawson, incredible talent, has proven that he's got the pace, but I think will struggle. And I think he'll struggle probably worse than Perez has. And will probably struggle maybe on the level that Gasly did the first season he went there. So
that's what I think, and that's why I think Red Bull will drop him.
But the thing is, I don't think Red Bull will drop him because I think they'll go, well, they've got to learn at some point that just dropping the driver is just going to repeat the same thing.
Yeah, but when you've got Yuki there waiting...
I know, but I think what they're going to do is, I think Yuki's never going there. I mean, unfortunately for Yuki, I just don't think he is. And I think they'll go, okay, well, dropping him isn't going to work. What we need to do is stick with Lawson and then build the 26 car around both Max and Lawson. And if they do that, then Lawson may be a bit closer. But until then, they're just repeating the same old cycle with drivers that clearly are capable enough to race in this sport and race at the top level.
Yeah.
But no, Lawson will struggle. He will.
Huh?
He will struggle.
Fair enough.
Red Bull, man. Pissing me off.
Red Bull. Well, speaking of Red Bull, Yuki Tsunoda.
There he is. There he is.
And I'm telling you now, I think Yuki wins a couple of races if he goes to Red Bull as well.
Jeez. All right. Okay. Calm down.
No, I do. I think
Really?
Yuki's that good.
Damn. Okay.
I think Yuki Tsunoda comes in, he wins a race, maybe 2.
Yeah.
And gets up to P7. I think he'll have a good year in that RB as well. I think he'll get a couple points in the RB.
Okay.
And then getting that Red Bull, I think Liam and Yuki might not be too far apart after the first 8 races. And getting that Red Bull and showing what he can do, be there, be consistently in and amongst the top 5, helping Max, helping Red Bull and the Constructors, and there we go. Whacking the wins.
Fair enough. All right. You're backing Yuki this year.
I am backing Yuki this year.
In 7th, I've gone with Kimi Antonelli. I think he'll have a few podiums. Well, do I think he'll win a race? No. If a Mercedes driver is going to do that, it's going to be George Russell.
Yeah.
But no, he's a good talent. He'll be embedding into the sport, but for the same reason you put him in 8th, I think Kimi Antonelli will be sort of at the mercy of that Mercedes problems, which is not being able to switch the tyres on, having a car that's very inconsistent no matter where they go. Yeah. And I think it'll catch him out a few times, as it has done to George Russell and Sir Lewis Hamilton a few times, as we saw in Texas, in Mexico.
Brazil.
You know, it's not an ideal situation for a rookie. And we already saw it in Monza. It caught him out in Monza when he did that practice.
It did.
So I think he will be at the helm of that this season, unfortunately for Kimi. But he might get a few podiums. He'll get a few good results, and he'll finish 7th, I think.
Yeah. No, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, 6th, I went with George Russell. Again, I think Mercedes struggles.
Yeah.
And I think the 6th is probably the best the Mercedes might get out of that. That's pretty much it. Maybe a win if they're lucky in there. But it could be a winless year for Mercedes this year.
It very much could be. For 6th, I've also gone George Russell. Exact same reason. I do think he will win a race, but it's only 1 or 2 at the most.
Yeah.
No more. It might be Vegas again potentially.
Potentially.
You know, it could be Silverstone or wherever else they manage to turn the car on. But apart from that, Mercedes I think will struggle again.
Yeah.
But now it's time for the top 5. This is where it gets spicy.
It does.
Okay.
5th.
Yep.
Oscar Piastri.
Okay.
In that McLaren, I think McLaren have another good car, but I think Oscar will have another good year, but I just don't think he's still at the level of Lando, Charles, that sort of level. So I think he'll get 5th.
That's fair. In 5th, I've gone Oscar Piastri. Exact same reasoning. He'll have another good season. He might iron out some of the mistakes from this season, but the one key difference I believe is Ferrari had that lull period between Spain, Canada to all the way really past Hungary Spa.
Yeah, probably Monza it came alive again.
Yeah,
Zandvoort there were glimpses from Charles, but probably Monza.
It was Charles's Monza win that sort of reinvigorated Ferrari. I don't think Ferrari have that this year. I think they're in and amongst it all season. And with that, unfortunately, there are 4 other drivers I think that will outcompete Oscar Piastri. Simple as.
So do I.
Yeah. So there you go. That's just how it is. But anyway, let's move on then. 4th place.
4th place. I've got our 4-time world champion Max Verstappen.
Oh, but 4th. You've put him 4th.
4th.
God damn.
Yeah, I think the McLaren and the Ferrari will continue the trend of being faster than the Red Bull.
Okay.
And I think if Max Verstappen, say, didn't have that start to the year that Red Bull had, we saw when he's in and amongst the pack, when he's in the 2nd or 3rd quickest car, he picks up 5ths, he picks up 6th, 7th, 4th, 3rds. Like, don't get me wrong, it'd be another good year for what the car is for Max. 4th is a great year for what I think the car will be. But I think Max will outperform the car, but I think the McLaren and the Ferrari will just be too good for him to compete for the championship next year.
Okay, I mean that's a hot take. In 4th place,
my whole list has been a hot take.
It has been. In 4th place, I've gone Sir Lewis Hamilton. Yeah. I mean, that really hurts me because I would love for him to win this championship. But, you know, he's joining a new team.
Yeah.
That Ferrari has been firmly built around Charles Leclerc. The entire team is working around him. He is the team leader at the moment. Obviously, we'll see if Hamilton changes that dynamic. But I think he'll embed himself. My problem with Hamilton will be the qualifying.
Yeah.
Charles is... It's the issue with Hamilton is we saw with George Russell that George Russell completely whitewashes him in qualifying. But Hamilton's race pace is good enough to where that meme of George and Hamilton finishing on track actually comes true. And it did several times. Vegas, Abu Dhabi, just to name a few. And there's probably a few more in the last few years. Yeah. However, the thing with Charles Leclerc is he, I would say, has the qualifying that George has, but also has fantastic race pace as well. I don't think there's much separating Hamilton and Charles when it comes to race pace. Hamilton maybe slightly, but if Hamilton's qualifying is as bad as it was last season, I think this will be a more detrimental impact on him.
Potentially.
If he sorts it out, I think there's a whole different conversation. I think Hamilton could even be world champion, but I really do think his qualifying lets him down, and because I don't think Charles is as much of a slouch as Russell is when it comes to race pace in comparison to Hamilton. I think that difference in qualifying makes the title charge a bit more difficult for him.
Yeah.
It'll be close though. Don't get me wrong. I mean, this season is going to be close. And it could even be 30, 40 points separate the top four. And I think he could be in it until the last maybe two or three races.
Yeah.
But
That's fair.
Yeah.
Well, breaking in at third in the bronze medal position.
Okay.
Lewis Hamilton.
Is it exactly what I said?
Slightly, I'm worried about the qualifying.
Yeah.
I am worried. I don't think it'll be as bad. I think we will see glimpses of the Hamilton mojo back in that Ferrari. I think the Mercedes is balance, everything to do with that Mercedes since 2022. I think it just threw him off.
Yeah.
I think hopefully a new car, new dynamic, new feel of a new car, different way that it sets up. That Ferrari's usually decent on a Saturday as well. It might just get him a feel back for quali. Might see a little bit of Hamilton's quali mojo coming back to him. I think it might just be I think he's a 7-time world champion, I know that, but every driver's going to take time to bed into a new team. It took him time to bed in at the Mercedes. I just think it's going to take 5-6 races for him to really, truly get a full handle on that car, but he will get a handle on that car, and then he will start winning, and winning quite a few, especially towards mid-season, tail end of the year.
Yeah.
But I think the start of the year, bedding into the team, possibly a few qualifyings, will just kind of keep him out of that title fight next year.
I think it'll be a case of, he'll be consistent, but he'll be consistently sort of bottom 2 or 3 places of that top 8 at the start. And then I reckon, that stat that everyone always loves to pull up whenever, teams have, the pacing and the pecking order sort of switches around, where it's like, oh, if the season started at Belgium, Charles Leclerc would have won the championship, is the one that they always pull up from 2019, which is really funny. I always find really funny where it's like,
I'm pretty sure if you started this last season just gone, if you started that from like Belgium or Zandvoort one, and Charles would win the championship.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I think it will be that case where it's like, from mid-season, from Silverstone, if you started the season then, Lewis Hamilton would be within 2 points of the championship going into the final race. I think it'd be something like that. I think we're going to see that sort of situation pan out this season.
I think the start of the year, getting used to that Ferrari might just keep him back from that championship.
And the qualifyings, I think, for me personally.
Yeah. I think his qualifyings will be better this year, though.
Well, we can hope. If they are, I think he's well within a chance of that title. I do. In third place, I've gone with Lando Norris.
Wow.
Yeah. The McLaren is going to be quick. But because the Ferrari doesn't have the lull period, there is one driver who I think beats him.
Well, there's two because you got third.
There's two drivers that beat him. But I do, when it comes to the Ferrari, I think
Yeah.
That's all I'll say.
Okay. Well, I've got in my second. I've got Lando Norris.
Okay.
I mean, I think again, as I say, I think the McLaren and the Ferrari will be the top two teams again.
Yep.
But there's a certain driver who's just, I think, got the edge.
Yeah, he does.
And I think you've agreed with the world champion.
In second place, I've gone Max Verstappen.
Yeah.
It'll be a brilliant year for Max, and he will take the first place, the world champion, right down to the last race. But
Yeah.
I think the pace of that Red Bull simply will not match up to the McLaren or the Ferrari this year, which is why, of course, we both have in first place
Charles Leclerc.
Of course. Yeah, Charles Leclerc world champion.
Charles Leclerc world champion. I mean,
Yeah.
he's had a great year this year. The consistency that he's shown in qualifying and in the race, if he can just transfer that to this year, Ferrari give him a car for a whole year.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I think I want to stress this enough. I think people will hear Lando third, Max second, Hamilton fourth. What's going on? George sixth, Charles wins. Listen, I think people are forgetting. I think you agree with me as well. This will go down to the last few races, if not the last race.
Yeah.
Between Max, between Lando. I think Lando maybe especially. I mean, I know I predicted Max second, but if the Red Bull's pace is worse off than it is this year, I think that Lando and Charles battle could be intense. Not to mention you've got Hamilton as well.
There is a huge potential that we could get to Abu Dhabi at the end of next year and 4 drivers could win.
We haven't even mentioned Oscar Piastri as well. If he has a good year, if he makes leaps and bounds from last year as well.
There's a huge potential we come to Abu Dhabi and there's not just a title fight between 2 drivers, but a title fight between 4.
Yeah.
So it could genuinely be that close.
Yeah, it could, and I am excited. I just hope we haven't predicted this, and then next season, like, one team's running away with it.
Oh crap!
I mean, actually, to be fair, if it isn't Red Bull, it would be kind of interesting. Because if Ferrari pull out a car that is just leaps and bounds above everything else, a Charles and Hamilton title fight would go hard.
It would go quite hard, yeah.
And an Oscar and Lando title fight would go hard.
Yeah.
It's just when it's Red Bull, you know Liam ain't getting anywhere near Max.
No.
So,
It's
even if Mercedes do something, like, I imagine Kimi Antonelli and George Russell title fight, year one, let's go.
Do you know what, right? I mean, that's our top 2021.
Yep.
Have you got any couple hot takes?
Couple hot takes?
On, like, what if?
No, not really.
Couple what if? Because I've got a what if.
Okay.
And my what if is, if Mercedes produce a car that, say, is the best, or second best, or on pace, I think Antonelli would finish ahead of George Russell in the championship.
That's a hot take.
Yeah.
That's a hot take. No, I don't have any hot takes like that, but that is a hot take. Let's move on to some questions then before we get to the Constructors' Championship.
Yeah.
So the first question is, will there be any new Grand Prix winners this year?
Yeah, Yuki Tsunoda.
So you're going with Yuki Tsunoda. I'm going with no. I don't think there'll be any new Grand Prix winners this year. I don't think Liam Lawson will win a race. I don't think Yuki will get the chance to drive in the Red Bull. If he does, will he win a race? Maybe. Will Kimi Antonelli come close? He may do. But no, I don't think there'll be any new race winners this year.
No, I'm going with Yuki.
Okay, that's fair enough.
I back Yuki. However, what I will say is, I don't think this year as well, and we almost went the full last year with it, but I don't think this year we'll have any team other than the top 4 teams on the podium.
Is that you? Are you locking that one in?
I'm locking that one in.
Are you locking that one in? Okay.
top 4 teams, that's the podium every race.
I'm going to go no. I think there will be
A surprise.
midfields. Yeah, because I think there'll be a few because I look at Kimi
I think they'll be
Antonelli.
close. I think there'll be close ones. I think maybe a 4th for Gasly in there.
Well, maybe. I mean, I just look at Kimi Antonelli, rookie, maybe a few
Yeah.
mistakes in there. Liam Lawson, rookie, maybe there's a few mistakes in there. Maybe he
Yeah.
won't even get to Q3 sometimes. I look at Max Verstappen, Lando Norris, Lewis Hamilton, Charles Leclerc, top 4. They're coming together at some point. At least 2 of them, maybe even 3 of them.
Yeah.
Right? If Oscar Piastri stinks out the gaff like he did in a few races, potentially he's down there. There might be a race where all of these things happen, or at least a few of these things happen consecutively. And I think potentially, with maybe a bit of wet weather, maybe even a safety car here and there, a red flag to spice things up, to make things, in favour of maybe some of the midfield teams, we could see a Pierre Gasly, a Fernando Alonso, an Esteban Ocon, as someone on the podium. I reckon we could. I just think it could happen.
Fair?
Yeah.
Fair. I just think it'll be a whitewash year.
Fair enough. I mean, those top 4 teams are
Clear.
clear.
Yeah.
Clear. So that's fair. Anyway, let's quickly move to our constructors.
Yeah, I mean, these are obviously quite self-explanatory after that.
Yeah. Let's speed through them then, and we'll give reasonings if we have to. So who have you got in 10th?
So 10th, I've got Audi, Stake, Sauber, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty easy, that, isn't it?
Yeah, I've also got Sauber in 10th. Nothing
Yeah.
really needs to be said there. Yeah.
No, 9th, I've got Williams.
Oh, wow. Okay. In 9th, I've got Racing Bulls.
Okay.
Yeah, I know I've put Yuki 12th.
Yeah.
I look at what potentially Hadjar might do, and that's going to let him down, I think.
Yeah. Well, 8th, I've got Racing Bulls.
Yeah.
I think Yuki and Lawson, when he's in there in the second half of the year, will just do enough to keep ahead of Williams, but it'll be close.
Yeah, that's fair. In 8th, I've got Alpine. Alpine would be a lot higher for me, but obviously you've replaced Doohan. I haven't. So Alpine at 8th. I think Pierre Gasly carries their constructors this year. But because the midfield's so tight,
carried them to 5th last year.
Yeah, because
6th.
the constructors is so tight, I think it's only enough for 8th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair. 7th, I think Haas lose their battle to Aston Martin, who's in 6th.
So you've gone.
I think Fernando saves Aston Martin.
Yeah. I've agreed, but I've gone with Williams 7th. Carlos and
Williams.
I think it's the Carlos Sainz effect. I think if it was still Logan Sargent in there, I think Williams in 9th probably. So the Carlos Sainz effect bumps him up a few places, and Aston I've also gone in 6th.
Nice.
Fernando Alonso, basically.
5th, I've gone Alpine. I think they will be the best of the rest. I think Pierre Gasly is going to have a great year. I think Colapinto is going to come in, and we're going to see maybe Gasly 6th, Colapinto 7th on a race or 2. And I think Colapinto is going to come in. He's going to get decent points and keep Alpine up in 5th, and Gasly is going to be clear, I think, of that mid pack.
I agree. Actually, I agree with you. If Doohan gets replaced,
yeah,
but because I don't think he will, I think Haas finish 5th.
That's fair. Well, I think Doohan gets replaced, and Alpine are just going to blitz it.
Fair enough. Haas 5th for me. Who's your 4th? I mean, this should be quite obvious.
Mercedes.
Yeah, Mercedes as well. Yeah, it's got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
3rd, Red Bull.
3rd, I've also gone with Red Bull. Max carries.
Yeah. 2nd, McLaren.
Yep, McLaren 2nd.
And Ferrari are back as Constructors champions.
Yeah, I agree. Ferrari Constructors champions. Yeah. They have to do it this year. They have to. This is Ferrari's year.
Yeah.
It's obviously McLaren's to lose, but I think Ferrari have their best chance.
Yeah, I think when you've got these two drivers together, I think they're going to produce a car that's just going to be phenomenal. Yeah.
I mean, this is probably a video for another day, but
yeah.
I just want to say, who do you think is the best driver lineup on the grid?
Ferrari.
You think it's Ferraris?
Yeah.
That's fair enough. But we'll probably make that into an actual video ranking the drivers. So make sure to look out for that. But anyway, that is pretty much our predictions for the 2025 season. It's been a long, old podcast, but hopefully you enjoyed. Any final thoughts?
No, bring on the year.
Let's
on the
go.
season. Let's do this.
It's going to be close. It's going to be close. It's going to be good. Anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.